Welcome back to the AnKorage, where everything is awesome and I am a geek. So, we are going to be doing something a little bit different on AnKorage Extras today. How different? We're talking geek different, and this is to show that. But I'm out of costume, so I will be right back. And here I am. So I am wearing, it's basically a costume piece, but most people might say cosplay, costume play, whatever. This is the Battlestar Galactica double tank, they call it, because it's this shirt and you have this overlay. Now, I am a fan of the 2003 to 2009 Battlestar Galactica iteration. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel when it used to be spelt S-C-I-F-I instead of its more bubbly cartoon-like, type one these days. S-Y-F-Y, at which they switched over to that after Battlestar went off the air. However, during its production run, there was many things. So as part of my fandom of Battlestar Galactica, I have purchased every season on DVD. So I have it all on DVD. And I also, after the show went off the air, they also came out with a DVD for a special episode-esque type thing called Razor, which deals with the Battlestar Pegasus and Admiral Kane. And then after the show was completed, they came out with a special straight-to-DVD movie called The Plan, which I have right here, which is focused around the Cylons. Or mainly the final five, as in the show, which I might talk about in a little bit. But I have all that, and then they also came out with a web series called Battlestar Galactica: Blood and Chrome. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So, and then also later on, they went back and they came out with a series that was a prequel to Battlestar that was called Caprica, which I have both seasons on DVD right here. And so what this focused on was, more of the drama side of things, not so much the sci-fi or space or anything like that, although they do touch it on occasion for a couple of different things. But, this is about the drama, about, the lead up to Cylons being created and their inclusion in the society. So, I'm going to show you this is a little bit of a show and tell. I'm going to show you my things that I have for it. And I'm going to start off with the big stuff. Now, I have one big thing that isn't here. I have it in storage. It's just too big. It's a poster, and it is a poster of the 12 colonies of Kobol. And so it has all 12 planets, plus some others. And it has their names and talks about them a little bit. And I have it framed. And that's in storage because I don't have it hung up here anymore. I did for a while. But what I do keep here is this big guy. This is based on a painting that you would see in one of the characters, Admiral Adama. Or at the beginning of this series, it was Commander Adama of the Battlestar Galactica. And this was a painting from the first Cylon War, and it was sold as a print. This one I obtained from QMX online, and it's a good print, and it's the first Cylon War, and it's very nicely done. The painting details are fantastic. So I keep this hanging right up here. So I took it down so that I could actually show folks. So, and then I also purchased, well, I didn't purchase it, I actually made this. This right here. This is the, they call it the Unknown Soldier. And basically it's a guy that's sitting, that's, you know, kneeling down on top of a building. And you've got the ravages of war in, I believe it might be Caprica City, but I could be wrong if I'm seeing that flag properly. I'd have to double check it. But this is a print of an image of the original that was done, and I actually saw how this was made, and it was great. And this is featured in the show in the back of the ready room for all of the Viper pilots, Viper and Raptor pilots. And when everybody leaves the room, what they do is they come by and they put their hand on this to remember the original first war and all of the people that they lost. So they walk by as they leave the ready room and they put their hand on this. So I have this, I had it up on the wall for a while, I took it down. And you may notice, I don't know if you can see it all that well, but there's cut corners. I'll try to hold this up a little bit so you can see the cut corners there a little bit. I'll explain that in a little bit too, because there's a neat little trick about that. Years ago, we're talking like, I don't know, 2012, 2013, possibly. I think it might have been 13. But there is a Facebook page. Of course, I'm not on Facebook anymore because I am done with that centralized social media. Ugh. So I'm on Mastodon. You'll see that down below. But there's a page on there called the CIC Project out there on Facebook, and where this guy, he's turning a portion or room in his home into Battlestar Galactica crazy. Now, I haven't been on there in years, so I have no idea what the situation is with that. However, back in 13, he was doing stuff, and he decided to do something special. Now, on the side of the Viper fighter craft, right below the canopy, is a name placard of the person who is assigned to that plane. They'll have their rank and name and have their call sign in quotations below it. And what this guy did at CIC, the CIC project, is he came out with make your own. So you could send him $75 and the text you would like to appear on it, and he had magnets, because they're magnetic, so that you can put them on your car. And I have one right here. I have one of mine. I've got two of them. Here's one of them right here. Captain Ivan Hawk, Shadow Strike. So I'll hold that up here. So when you go out to Mastodon, or even Birdside for that matter, I have an account for me by the name Shadow Strike, and my icon features this magnet. And I had this on my car for a little bit, but then I decided, no, let's take it off, because I have one made for a friend, and or a set of two made for a friend, and they had it on their car, and then one day the wind cut the edge, and whew, bye-bye. So that went bye-bye. So I've got this, so I keep this around. I had it on my fridge for years, but I took it off. Let's see, what's next? Let's talk about, let's talk about these. These are dog tags. much like the dog tags we have today, but there's no, no cushiony ring around it. I bought these from QMX Online, and they're really good. They're based off the originals, and so I've got those there. Now let's talk about this shirt. This shirt is, of course, the double tank, and it is screen accurate. It is the same. Well, let me tell you about the company I bought this from. I bought it from a company that at the time went by the name Anovos, which was focused on making authentic replicas, basically replicas of studio props, costuming, things of that sort. Today they are known as Duo Novo or Nuo Novo. So I'll throw that link down below. You can poke around a little bit. But back in 2012, they were known as Anovos, and they do these authentic replicas. And so what I did was they were selling these double tanks from the show, and this double tank, which is worn by all of the military personnel, this is the same fabric that was used in production of the show costume pieces. So it's made by the same company that made them for the show. And these ones in particular, now the ones in the show, the fabric comes down, gets to the waist, and stops. Now these ones are a little longer. There's a couple more inches on there, so that, because people like to drape them over their pants. And I'll stand up here so you can kind of see it. You can kind of go over, because in the show they'd be this short, but Anovos made them to be this long so that people could, wear them. And during the winter time, more so in the north part of the country and Alaska, it wouldn't make sense really, because you've got all of this here. You've got, your shoulders are exposed. But this makes for a great shirt to wear in the summertime when it's really hot and humid, so you can have that exposure, and it's a little easier on the comfort of things. So I did that. So, and what else they did was they did authentic replicas of rank insignia and other types of pins. So I dove into that. So in a little box here, I have a presentation box. I'll hold it up so you can kind of try to see it a little better. Looks like that. And it looks like just like the ones in the show. Inside of this are rank insignias for the officer rank of captain, as you can see right there. So I've got rank insignia for captain. Oh yeah, and what they did when they made these is, with these are gold plated, and then they're also nickel plated. And the backings of them are the military style backing with the screws, where you have the screw backs. Because years ago, of course, you would have a piece of metal back there. You'd push that through, and then you'd have a little pinching clasp that you'd put over it. This one is a screw back, where the post is actually threaded, and you can screw on a nut of sorts, which is common today. So I have that rank there, and that takes care of that. Put that back in its box, and the box is really cool. It says Battlestar Galactica insignia pins, and it says Captain on the side, and it also says Universal Network Television LLC, but they misspelled network by adding a V. So who knows? Maybe someday that'll mean something in value, but in neither sense. Another pin I got is this one here. Excuse me. The black box and is larger. And when we open it, we can see I have wings. These are the Elite Pilot wings. I like these ones because they actually have little wings that stick out the sides. And that's also because I got this one because I actually have a private pilot license. Of course, I haven't flown since, it's almost been 20 years. So, but, you know, with that, I still have, the licenses are good until you're dead. You just have to keep your license current with current medical and check rides. So I don't have either of those. So I am quite literally grounded. So, and so I have that one there. And then I have this little plastic one that I can wear, you know, in informal situations, you know, get-togethers or just for fun or whatever. And that's for, so I put these wings on my suit jacket when it's not such a, you know, when it's an acceptable type situation. So I have that there. What else do I have from them? Oh, yes. In the show, you'll see a lot of the military folk on their time off playing cards. These are those cards. And what they're playing is the game called Triad. Now, this one is still in the original plastic, so I can't show you these ones. But I bought 2 sets. And I keep the other one in this little box. So I'll take this out. There we go. And here we are. And it's got a little cardboard sleeve on it to hold them together. And let me get here. So here's what the top of it looks like. The top of each card. Now what makes these different than regular playing cards? A couple of different things. One is the shape. Regular playing cards are rectangular. These ones are of course hexagonal. And the other thing is, you know, you don't have king, queen, ace, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Here, you got funky graphics. So, I'll show you what those look like. It looks like that. And there is an extra card. I'll show you another one. Yeah, like that. There's an extra card that's provided with the pack. Where the suits, like, you know, we have spade, clubs, diamonds. In this card set, you have colors versus suits. So here for colors, you got blue, green, red, and black. And of course, you know, you got 3, 1, 4, and so on. And so you have a card here that tells you what all the graphics are. So, you know, you got ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up through to the jokers. Now the jokers in this card set are a little Cylon head. One's gold and one is silver. Because in the original Battlestar Galactica, you had silver ones, which were your typical Centurions, and then you had gold ones, which were kind of like their commanders. So this set, you can use this set to play ordinary cards. You just need, you know, you've got this to kind of help you on, you know, how to differentiate one number from the next, and you know, the Jack, Queen, King, and Ace from everybody else. So, and also there's another card with the rules of Triad. So it tells you the differences between a Triad hand and a poker hand and how to tell. So a full house is actually called, find it, called full up. So, you know, and let's see, a straight is called a run. Two pair, you know, things like that. So these are good. They may still be available out there on like Etsy or eBay or something like that, but they were cheap. They were like $15 for the set. So that's what I got there. So that's with that. And then I got something else extra, and this is where the cut corner story sort of comes in. On everything in the show, whether it be paper or books or other or picture frames, pictures, you'll notice that the corners are cut off on everything that's square or rectangular. And that's because during the production of things, they're looking ways to, you know, how do we get this done? How do we get it done cheaper? How do you do that? You cut corners. They literally cut the corners as an in joke. You know, here's proof of it. This is a, you know, it's just a clipboard. This one's made out of aluminum, and you know, you see these in the CIC in particular. You know, these will be up on the edges, surrounding behind where people sit and stuff like that, where they can grab. And it's got the Battlestar Galactica logo on it. And then this one came with the paper, which has the Battlestar Galactica logo watermarked on the paper. So that's that. So I did that. Okay, so, and then 2009, I was at a convention in, it was in Long Island, called Icon, and I was gifted this. This is this is a Viper Mark II resin model kit, which includes a display stand, and it's just this little guy. It was $20, you know, and basically, there you go, little Viper Mark II, so that you could paint. It can be painted and set up and then placed on the stand, put on your desk, whatever. I have had this since 2009, and I haven't done anything with it. I might still, but you know, it's like I have to paint it, and I haven't gotten the paints that I need for it, or the sandpaper, or the little tool. I do have a little X-Acto knife, but there's that. So, and then we have this household's pride and joy, and also this channel's an actual Battlestar. Here we are. I'll hold it up a little closer so you can see it. This is it right here. This is what I've named the Battlestar AnKorage, and this is a 3D printed display model of sorts, and based on everything, it looks like it was printed like this because it can stand up. So, and this is where the separate Battlestars come into play. This one is a Valkyrie Type. Now, I say the word type because there is no official class name to this Battlestar type. It's smaller. It's not as big as the Galactica. It's probably about, looking at this and stuff like that, it's maybe like half the size, I think. I'd have to check the Battlestar Wiki about that. So, which I'm a supporter of through Patreon. So, this here was 3D printed and came primed, and all I had to do was just paint it. So I spray painted it with chalkboard paint, and then I went around with a Q-tip and some green paint I got from a hobby shop, and I did the front of these landing bays, and I did a couple of different spots on here. If I hold it up, you can see there's the front of the landing bay right there. It's green. It's a dark forest green. I did that there, and I did this here, and I also did these over here back by the engines. So just like any Battlestar, you've got what they call the alligator head. That's the front. That's this section here. This is the neck, and here's the alligator head. So this is where basically all of your, the CIC or the Star Trek folks out there, it's where the bridge is. But it's not up top on the top of the surface. This is actually, the CIC in all Battlestars is where it should be. Right in the dead center of the entirety of the upper mast. Because there is a lower section too, the lower half as well. But it's way deep down inside. So, and that's in all Battlestars, including the Valkyrie Type. I chose the Valkyrie Type because of my appreciation in the Old Norse, or the Vikings, if you want to call it. But I'm not so much into the Vikings themselves, I'm into the people behind it, which is the Old Norse. And, of course, they believed in the old gods, Odin, Freya, Frigg, Thor, Balder, there's a number of them. And so, of course, then you have the Valkyries, which took the souls of Vikings who were slain in battle and took their souls to Valhalla. And we won't get into all of that stuff, but this is the Valkyrie Type, and I chose that because of my appreciation for that. And I actually wear a Thor's hammer around my neck, and just not right now because I've got my dog tags. Because I'm in costume. I'm a captain. There you go. So it's a Valkyrie Type, and I painted it. And then what I did is the names of Battlestars are always painted on the front portion of the landing bays. And so I'll try to hold it up closer so you can kind of try to see it. If I can get it in there. It may not focus, but it says AnKorage. And what I did with that was I basically printed it out in reverse, in a word processor, printed it out on a piece of paper, and then what I did was I took that paper and I wet it down, and then I watered down some Elmer's glue and basically saturated it, and then carefully laid it out onto the landing bay. And so there we have the Battlestar of the AnKorage. And then there are the computers. I have two computers down there pointing out. And you've seen them in previous videos. I have the Solaria and I have the Odin. Those are built based off of Battlestar Galactica. Oh, what do you know? And the names are, when it comes to networking, stuff like that, if your network in your home is big enough and such like that, it's like, you could say living room PC, kitchen PC, whatever. I have a number of different devices that connect to my network, and I'd like to know exactly what it is when I go into my router software. And so I have Solaria and I have Odin, but they're not named like that because I'm a geek, and I took some inspiration from my old work in how they do that, and but whatever, either way. Got the computers, got the cases. Solaria is based off of the Battlestar Solaria, and so what I say is between the two, they're decorated with Battlestar Galactica colonial phoenixes, and basically what I did was based on that. I say, here's where the cosplay comes in. They, as far as my fanfic-y type stuff, these two devices came from the actual Battlestars that had those names, Solaria and Odin. Now, the Solaria was a Battlestar that was destroyed during the Cylon raids in the miniseries. So what I basically said was, well, the show, we found out at the end of the show, is that this all takes place about 100,000 years ago. 100,000. And in that time, floating through space was the wreckage of the Battlestar Solaria. And in that wreckage was computers and other things like that. And this one fell down from the sky, protected because it was in a section of the Battlestar that blew off, and it somehow remained inside all this time, floating through space, and came across Earth and crash landed. And I found it and pulled it out, and it works, and it operates off. It's just a budget computer. And the same thing with the Odin. And so what I did was, I've got the two cases. They're the same case, make and model. They're from Deepcool, which is a Chinese company. And if you go to their website, you can't go to the website using a VPN. Because I guess they want to track people. So, China. But either way. So what I did is I found a guy down in Kentucky who makes vinyl decals, and I ordered different sizes of the Colonial Phoenix, and I put them on it, and so now my computers look like official Colonial military computers that would be on Battlestars. So there we go. So that would appear to be everything. Did the Battlestar, did that, did that, did that. So, oh, yes, one other thing. Utility belt. Now this is a utility belt. Now what I actually went out to Amazon and I bought this pouch, and I also bought this pouch, and it's all that I wear on this. And I'll show you why in a second, but it has the Colonial Phoenix on the buckle, and this is based off of the actual one they used on the show, which is actually based off of the one you have in real life. I use this in the summertime to hold my cell phone and my wallet and my keys and stuff like that. And it came in this box, and I keep the box because I keep everything else in here, which I have, pistol holsters. I've got two of them because one of the characters on the show, Kara Thrace, otherwise known as Starbuck, had to because she liked to dual wield pistols. So got that. Got this little piece here, where you can put different things in. Got another thing here with a multi-tool. It holds a multi-tool, and I had one. I've got one, and so I keep that in there. Here's another one. Oh, I was looking for this flashlight. This is a mag light holder right here, and I have a mag light. Excuse me. I was looking for that. Excuse me. And then I have this little guy where you can put little things in here. And then I have two more little guys that you can keep other stuff in. So these are cool. So, and then of course I've got replacement holster leg straps. So basically how that works is that when you're wearing the belt and you have these holsters on, these are the leg straps. so that when you're wearing them, you've got your belt on, you've got that. This goes around your leg, and it holds it in place. You can pull them off. Now, the show used a special modified version of a pistol, where it also had like a, I'm not going to say it's a grenade launcher, but it's kind of like a grenade launcher. It makes it special. And this is actually made to hold those. So, I mean, I could go into Etsy and I can buy them as resin, solid resin props. And of course, if I go to a convention or something like that, they would put a little orange zip tie on it, or a red one on it, you know, to be like, hey, it's inert, it's not real. So, but this holster is very much real, and I happen to have it. And it's got a little release here, so it goes over it, and it, you know, just slides in and clicks. So there it is. So I've got 2 of those if I want to dual wield pistols ever, which I have no plans to do. So there we go. So I keep that in that box and in the closet. So that, and then of course, you know, on my computer I have a wallpaper with a Colonial Phoenix and a bar that goes across, and yeah, you may see stuff like that. And of course, the battery on the camera decided to die, and I've got a new battery in there, and it also just reminds me I've talked too long now. But that is my entire collection of little Whoozy Whatsits from Battlestar Galactica. I had thought of getting an actual uniform piece, but those were like $800, $900, and that's just beyond my abilities in cost. It's just too cost prohibitive. So, you know, but the pins I could do this. This was $30, and I also bought one for a friend, and they love it, and it's fantastic. And yeah, so we look like Viper pilots. And quick thing about that, about the Vipers on the show, they're cool and everything like that, but I call those the Porsches because they're small, you know, and like the Porsche 911, that's a small car. Whereas in Blood and Chrome, this guy, the Viper is the Mark III, and it is actually comparable to fighters like an F-16. You know, it's big, and it's more believable, and the paint job is more believable. But we can get into the you know, the ins and outs of that, but that's for a different time. So, but that's pretty much it. So we're basically going to call it there. This was AnKorage Extras. If you happen to like it, give it a like, please. I'd appreciate that. And you know, subscribe if you happen to like my videos, and you'd like to see more. They're really random, but they happen to typically deal with projects of different types. And so you can see that here on the AnKorage. So I appreciate it, and thank you very much. So Skál, we'll talk to you later, and so say we all. Well, I lied. One last thing that I just remembered is one of the most important pieces that I have. You can see I put my utility belt back on this hook, but it's this jacket. So I'll show you that. So here we've got, just a quick little note. Here's a laptop. It's got a Colonial Phoenix right there, as you can see it. So, and of course I got the wood grain that I put on there as well to cover up the brand logo, because I wanted it to be Battlestar-like. And in this corner I've got my channel badge, the AnKorage. So there's that. Show that I did this. So there's that. So, but on to what it is. This jacket, if I can put it here. This jacket is based off a jacket that was worn in the very last episode called Daybreak, and it was worn by Apollo, Lee Adama, which is played by Jamie Bamber, and you know, so there we have you know, there's the patches. There's the patches for the vigilantes, and on the other side we've got a Viper patch, and then a couple other patches. One says Caprica Communications Command. So, and these patches are done in the style of how our actual military patches are actually made, and these are embroidered, and they go through a process called galacticizing. So a lot of them are done in ways that look like existing patches, but there are slight changes in them so they don't violate any federal law or regulations and stuff like that. So here, I'll show you how it looks on me. And here we are. Sorry for the little brightness over here on the left of the screen here. I've got my light over there so you can actually see me. But here I am actually wearing the jacket. Here's that patch. And of course you can see my camera. But, you know, on the side there's those patches. And there's those patches. Back up here a little bit. And there we go. Now this is a practical jacket. It's an actual real jacket. And it was made by a company that I'm going to assume it made the same one for the show. And it can be used best like up here in New Hampshire during autumn and spring. And so that is, you know, it's a good light coat, and it's got pockets. You know, it's got pockets there. It's got one in here, and you know, it does a very good job. And it is military style, and because military should, I think they might use them. And so, and I wear it. But we're coming into summer, so that's why I've got hanging on the hook behind the door over there. So, and of course this is my room. So, so yeah, there we go. And nice little extra. So there you go. So we'll talk to you later.